We are ready to get started now. We will call to order this Board of Equalization for April 20th, 2023. We will excuse Commissioner Sakovic. He's with the Chamber of Commerce in DC right now. So we will have a suspension of the rules so that any motion, I can then second those motions with the suspension of the rules. With that, we have got a long agenda, so we're all going to work together as a team. We're going to keep our comments concise and short, and I'm going to keep things moving along so that we're not here until 6 p.m. Does that work for everybody? Awesome. Okay. Well, with that, we're going to jump right in and get started. We will start with item number 1, approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on March 30th, 2023.
Motion to approve item number 1, the minutes.
I will second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Next, approve the Board of Equalization assessor approved review process. Let's look at items 2 and 3 together. Both of them are for April 18th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Items number 2 and 3 are approved at 2-0. Item number 4, approve or deny the reinstatement of the primary residential exemption on the parcels listed on the attached spreadsheet for tax year 2022. Any discussion?
None.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Item number 5, approve or deny petition to the Board of Equalization to hear appeal of property valuation after the filing deadline for parcel 0092. Bert, you want to bring us up to speed on this?
Both 5 and 6 are basically under the same ownership, but I can make the recommendation for both. We recommend approve based off of the extenuating circumstances as provided by the applicant.
That's good enough for me. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve 5 and 6.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Items number 5 and 6 pass. 1 down, 4 to go. Pages, that is. Item number 7, approve or deny petition to the Board of Equalization to hear appeal of property tax valuation after the filing deadline for parcel 0023. Bert, you want to update us on that?
That's another recommendation approved based on the extenuating circumstances provided by the applicant.
That was yes?
Yeah, that was a yes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Item number 8, approve or deny valuation after the filing deadline 0003. Bert?
This one's a little bit squishier. The appellant was filing based on a failure to notify. The county did send the notice to the address of record as recorded on the warranty deed, but the appellant provided a different mailing address on their application. They stated in their petition that their mortgage company pays the bill, and they haven't seen the notice. It's possible that the address is wrong, but if it's wrong, it's due to a fault of the appellant. So the board could grant it under extraordinary circumstances, but the county did not fail to send out the notification as required.
Has the address changed recently? Have we sent previous notices to that same address and had it get paid?
It's been paid in the past. We've sent the notice to those addresses twice. The notice has come back undeliverable, and no, the address has not yet been updated.
They haven't updated it yet?
No, they haven't updated it yet. I'm not sure if they're aware that that the address the county has could possibly be wrong. I'm making some assumptions here based on the mailing address they provide in the application, the mailing address that's recorded in the deed. But I would like to point out the deed does match the address that the county has on file. So we are sending it to the address of record. So again, there's not a fault here. If there's a fault, it's not on the county's part. We are doing what we need to do.
But we have had 2 notices returned to December.
Undeliverable, that's correct.
And they've not updated it.
And they've not updated the address. That's not uncommon with when people have a mortgage in escrow. They're not necessarily paying attention until like the escrow goes up and they suddenly freak out that their payment's gone up and they're trying to figure out why.
Gotcha. Well, seeing no fault in the county, I could see us not approving it, but we do have an address that has been returned to sender multiple times.
At least twice.
And they need to know. I mean, at the very least, this person needs to change their address, and I don't know how we communicate that to them.
Yeah, we can certainly communicate that through the if it's denied, we can certainly probably put a note on their letter, or if it's approved, we can also put a note there too. But I'm sure we can let the taxpayer know their address is wrong.
So,
What are you leaning to? I'm assuming there might not be here.
No, these are just petitions.
Gotcha. Oh,
so I would lean to denying because it was after the filing deadline, but ensuring that our staff go above and beyond and follow up with them to say, hey, let's fix your address.
yeah, I would second that if that's a motion, or I can make the motion
Yeah, and I'll second
as
it.
such. Perfect.
All right.
And please follow up with the correct address to.
Noted, and will
all.
do.
Okay.
Thank you. All approved, say aye. Aye. Passes 2-0 for a denial, but a follow-up with them and help them update their address for future reference.
Yeah, we'll give them a call or something.
Awesome. Okay, number 9, approve or deny petition to the Board of Equalization to hear appeal of property valuation after the filing deadline 40009.
This one is they're appealing based on a factual error, and the information they provide in their petition would rise to the factual error if the assessor's office agrees. We defer to the assessor's office on this one.
Assessor's office.
There is no factual error.
Okay, and I would lean towards deny.
Motion to deny.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 9 to deny. Number 10, approve or deny petition to the Board of Equalization to hear appeal of the property valuation after the filing deadline 40021. Property for Andrew and Susan Baggs.
Same situation.
There is a factual error on this one. We would recommend approving this one.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 10 is approved.
Excuse
for
me, Madam
late
Chairman, we
deadline.
need to back up. I apologize. I gave you the wrong information. I was looking at 10, you were on 9. That was my fault.
Oh, okay, let's go back to 9.
Yeah, number 9, no, there's no factual error on 9. The issue on 9 is a notification issue, but this is one of those times where it's, you got both parties are right, and it's really just a circumstance. This parcel was split in early 2022, and as the split happened after the lien date of January 1, the notification and addressing stayed the same and basically stayed with the old owner. The new ownership was not effective until January of this year, so therefore, when we noticed for both valuation and tax notice, it went to the old address. But that's a donut hole in the law, and we faced this problem before. In the past, we have approved these to be heard because of that.
If a tie goes to the runner, I think we should find in favor of letting them appeal late
Yeah.
and updating that address. I think we should reconsider number 9.
Correct.
You want to make a motion to reconsider 9?
Consider 9 to approve.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that just gives them a chance to approve. It doesn't necessarily say they will.
It gives them a
And we
chance
will-
to appeal their value, to have
and
their
we will
valuation heard.
Make sure they update their address
Well,
in the
their-
process.
Their address has been updated. It's just a matter of the split. It's one of
Timing,
those.
a
Yeah, it's
timing
one of those unique things of the
Okay.
law.
Moving on to number 11, approve or deny petition to the Board of Equalization to hear appeal of property valuation after the filing deadline for, looks like several properties.
Yeah, I looked at the notice history. Now, this property was purchased by this ownership in 2022, but the notices the address was updated to the deed, and the deed address matches the address on the appellant's application they filed. We recommend.
And the
we'd
claim
recommend
was that they
denial.
didn't receive.
Their claim is they didn't receive it. Well, actually, their claim is that they didn't get it until December, even though we sent it in October, and we sent it to the address of record. Both the tax notice and the valuation notice to the same place. We can't control when someone looks at a notice. Obviously, we sent out the valuation notice in July to the correct address, and we sent the tax notice to the same address in October, and the appellant is claiming they didn't get till December.
Do we send, it's three parcels. Do we
All
send
three
one
parcels
notice
are the
or
same.
3 separate notices?
It was 3 separate notices, so you're talking about a total of 6 notices that went to the same address.
Okay, I would recommend deny.
Motion to deny.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 11 is denied. Number 12, approve or deny a revocation of the 2023 property tax exemption for Rise Group Home and Rise Inc. personal property account. Vicki?
Vicki Westergaard, the Auditor's Office. I think this organization is closed because they sold their building, and so they didn't turn in their application to renew their personal property accounts. So that's why they are on the revocation list.
All right. So you're recommending that we approve the revocation?
Yes.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That revocation is approved. Number 13, approve or deny the revocation of property tax exemption for Brigham Young University, serial number 0009.
Adam Beck, County Attorney's Office. I just wanted to add a little context here. There's three different
I see
parties.
that, yeah, I see
on
there's
this
one for
one.
BYU, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and Daughters of the Utah Pioneers.
Correct. So the property involving Brigham Young University, that property's been sold. The property for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it has changed use. So it's going to be, my understanding is it's going to be used for agriculture. And then the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers, that has been quitclaimed to the city.
Okay, so you'd recommend approve the revocation for all three?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All three are approved for the revocation. Item number 14, approve or deny the application for new property tax exemptions for Rural Housing Development Corporation for parcels 0049 and 0035.
Okay, the next several are people that didn't come last month. And so we had to continue it on their new applications to this month. And the first one is for rural housing. And so you may want to speak about that. We do have a few questions on it.
Okay. So typically what we do is in 60 to 90 seconds, tell us what you do that is nonprofit, why you should qualify for the exemption, and then if we have any questions, we'll ask those.
Very good. My name is Brad Bishop. I'm the Executive Director of Self-Help Homes. We assist low and very low-income families, individuals get into home ownership as affordable housing. We work with a program through the Department of Agriculture called Mutual Self-Help Housing, where we group 10 families together and they build each other's homes using a USDA mortgage. Nobody moves in until they're all complete. They put about 70% of their equity in building these homes. So they do all the framing, all the roofing. No one moves in until all the homes in the group are complete. The two parcels that we have, and we've been doing this now for 25 years, we've done 600 homes. We've had 5 defaults in that 25 years on the 600 homes. So it's been very successful in helping families get into home ownership. The two parcels we have here are subdivisions that have been, one's been approved, one's in still in the entitlement phase. We had hoped some of this would had started, but we're having the one, I can't remember which one, the one in Salem will be starting this summer, and the other one late fall or early next year.
Okay, any questions?
We did have just a couple questions that if you could answer for us. As you know, commissioners, if a property is just vacant, it would not be eligible for the exemption. And so we would like to know what the current status of the properties, if they are being developed, if curb and gutter has been put in, or if they still lay vacant.
And so, as I mentioned, they're still vacant. As was hoping to be further
curb and gutter
along,
yet.
and
Okay.
these processes take a little longer these days.
See, the problem is that all of us prayed for snow, and then it just kept snowing and kept snowing.
That too. So,
So curb and gutters have not been done yet.
yeah, and typically, if there's any infrastructure that we put in, then that has been looked at in the past. Historically, they have been waived before. It did go to the state tax commission where they wanted to make a determination for that. It was really fun. Well, Paul was there. He was a good buddy. And where the counties, they support affordable housing. I know the ARPA funds was part of that this last year. And so maybe this is a way to help contribute to that through either through a waiver or exemption. But we'll take whatever's given.
Paul? What does your experience tell you?
Great. Well, the standard, of course, is that for most of these properties, or for all of the properties, they have to be in the exclusive use, meaning actually used, for the purpose justified in code to receive the exemption. And so rural housing is a charitable organization, so the property has to be in the use, actually used for the charitable organization. Next one is going to be a religious question. Are the properties being put to a religious use?
Right.
As opposed to just sitting vacant. So vacant properties are not entitled to the exemption. We did have a tax commission hearing on those properties. Maybe I'll just take one step back. Once you have either a building permit or you've begun construction and you've dedicated the property to that use, then you can qualify for the exemption, even though it's not actually in that use yet. So for a church, if they've begun construction, they can qualify, even though people aren't actually worshiping on that property yet. Same with self-help homes. As soon as they've begun the construction there, this is why the question about the curb and gutter. Like, have you begun construction? Now, of course,
Is there a possibility that, you said you're looking at summer to start with curb and gutter and maybe start getting building permits?
One of the two, yeah.
Any permits pulled yet? Like with Salem? Or?
When are you
Okay.
thinking that you'll do that?
So there's an expiration date on the subdivision in Salem this summer in July. So we have
For
to,
July.
you have to get that. The other one, we're still upgrading the zoning and that's, it's happening right now. So I can't tell you when that would happen.
Paul, what are your thoughts on us continuing this until the July BOE meeting?
Or
Is that
August would be
possible, or
even
is
better.
that too far past a deadline?
well, you can do that, but it's not really going to help because we're looking at January 1st, right? January 1st is the date that we're looking at for all of these properties. What was the condition or use of the property on the tax lien date, January 1, 2023? Is that how you understand it, Vicki?
If I can just ask a quick question, Brad, when was the property purchased?
Last August. Well, I'm sorry. So the Payson was a year ago, January.
Okay,
And all these were purchased with federal funds
Okay.
through the county and city home funds.
right.
And let me just think on the Curtis property, it's probably been a year and a half.
Okay.
It was in Greenbelt, and so we switched over because we were.
The reason I asked that question is the law was changed and went into effect this year to where a property was acquired by an organization. They had up to 120 days to get it, to be able to apply in order to put it into exclusive use. Unfortunately, because they were purchased last year, we wouldn't be able to use that. Statutorily, we have a deadline of making decisions on applications by May 1st. If they don't have the 120-day clause working to their advantage, we basically have to go off of January 1, as Paul's stating. So unless they currently qualify, likely they'd have to take the hit this year and reapply next year.
Now, one thing that might be in their favor, and I don't know how the board wants to look at this, but self-help homes would not actually, do you pull the building permits yourselves, or does the land transfer to the property owners and they pull building permits, or?
So it's in our name in the subdivision once they're entitled, but then when we sell it we sell it
You sell the
to the homeowner
final
when they
product?
begin their construction loan but they purchase it up front
Oh, okay,
when they're building the homes.
yeah.
I think I'm hearing a staff recommendation that you've really worked all the angles you can and like trying, and it's almost feeling like your recommendation is a deny. Is that what I'm hearing?
If basically, unless, where Self-Help Homes is acting as a general, basically is acting as a general contractor and developer, from their standpoint, yeah, they wouldn't have to be pulling individual building permits. What they have to be doing is filing a subdivision plan, putting in curb and gutter and beginning the construction process, because they're gonna get the neighborhood up to the point to where, homes can be built, and at that point, they then sell it. And so based on that, that's the standard we've used in the past to evaluate whether or not any land they purchase is ready to be brought into the exemption until it gets to that point. And that also falls with other, that also follows the standard that we apply to other organizations like the church. The church is a good example because they do a lot of construction. They typically will not file for an exemption until they have started basically building either the church or the structure or something like that. So in this case, with row homes, you know, in the planning phase is not something that we're, I believe, and Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, we're allowed to grant the exemption. It's once construction is commenced, which is signified by either a building permit or, in their case, curb and gutters going in, subdivision plats have all been filed and they're ready to go.
It'd be fun if we disagreed, because then, you know, split vote, but we probably shouldn't do that. Or we should disagree.
I could
Whatever
go
you
either
wanna
way. Yeah, I mean, I want to help affordable housing as much as possible. It's literally the number one issue I think facing our citizens is affordable housing for not only low-income individuals, but even moderate-income individuals. But if legally we can't find a way to do it, the only other way would be a grant or an abatement.
1347.
Right. So I think in this meeting, we don't have a choice. In fact, what's probably best is if we deny in this meeting and you could apply for an abatement from the Board of Commissioners, which happens to look a lot like this and happens to be in the same place. It just happens on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays.
That's probably, yeah, what we've done.
In Washington County, they do an administrative waiver. That's the only time I've heard that, but I don't know if that's another way. And then we would come back after an assessment's made on the properties, and then we would come back in October and they would waive them at that point. But not telling you how to do it, just one other way that I've seen it done in Utah.
Yeah, it's not a process we're familiar with. Or if they have something in their ordinance. Yeah, send us.
I think I make a motion to deny, and then, like you say, we have an opportunity, hopefully, to, you know.
Yeah.
do
Yep. I agree. I'll second that motion. All in favor for denial, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. And then we could look at an abatement. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 15, approve or deny 2023 application for new property tax exemption for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for, it looks like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties? Yeah. Continued from the last meeting. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. Kelly Taylor with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I don't know what these, basically we just need to verify that these 5 properties are being used
Right,
for a religious or charitable purpose.
correct. So actually 3 tax parcels are in the construction phase for new meeting houses.
Okay,
And the 58, or the 0005 will be part of the welfare system, which sits next to other parcels that are currently in the welfare exempt category.
okay. So either welfare system or
Yes.
meeting houses?
Yes.
And they're all under construction?
Yes.
Confirmed? Okay.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's approved, 2-0. Next would be for approve or deny property tax exemption for Brigham Young University, personal property account number 3309.
Okay, this is the personal property account for where the Riviera Apartments that we did previously approved. This is their personal property account for the dorms that they're using
Okay.
there now.
So confirming those will be used as dorms and they're in active use?
They are in active use, yep.
Motion to, oh, go
Like saying
ahead.
we did approve, and the dorms are an approved use? Okay.
You have something, Bert?
No, I was just,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved 2-0. Number 17, approve or deny the 2023 application for new property tax exemption for Utah Regional Housing. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Do we have a representative here from the Utah Regional Housing?
This is one that y'all told her if we found out which one was vacant to be denied.
Oh,
that she
right, and we said they
have
did
to
not
come.
have to come back once
Right.
we figured that out.
And the
Okay.
one that is vacant per Shannon Daly is 3644900002.
Okay.
And the rest are being used for the
4694000002, is that what you said?
The first one.
The first one listed.
36.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
Vicky, just to clarify, we're recommending that everything but 3644900002 be approved then, right? Okay.
Okay.
Just for the record.
Okay. Motion to approve all but 0002.
All right, I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes 2-0. Okay. Number 18, approve or deny the 2023 charity plan and annual statement for continued property exemption for community nursing services.
This is one where they have to come and present their charity plan, what they did last year, and what their plan is for this year. They usually come, but it doesn't look like anyone's here. And Adam and I were talking that we wondered if they would meet the legislative exemption for, how much is that?
They're
27,000.
online. I'm promoting them to panelist right now.
Okay.
Perfect.
Or I'm attempting to, well, I'm gonna just,
There we go.
there we go.
All right,
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
we can.
Okay, great. This is Neil Bear. I'm the area manager for the Community Nursing Services branch here in Provo. And so I'm here just to answer your question.
Yeah, you just need to basically give us 60 to 90 seconds on your charity plan and how you utilize, and basically why you should qualify for a charity exemption.
For the year of 2022 in Utah County, we did actually close to, it looks like we did about $10,000 in charity funds for home health and hospice visits. And then we did around over 5,000 in infusion services for charity, and then about close to 11,000 in immunization and vaccinations for charity in Utah County. And in addition to that, we did about $2,000 worth of Senior Wish program for our hospice as well as our home health patients, such as providing NFL Steeler jerseys, multiple restaurant catered family dinners for many of our hospice patients prior to them passing, screening of new movies, gift cards to allow patients to stream online movies. We did a tea party actually at Taste for one of our hospice patients. And then personalized treat deliveries, magnifying screens for patients, and Build-A-Bear trips, as well as we have done honor salutes and many hand molds for many of our hospice patients as well, all with charity funding. And then as for our annual, so are you wanting the numbers in regards
that's good.
to what we, okay.
We're good.
I think we're good there. All right. Vicki, did you have any questions?
No.
All right,
Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes
Thanks,
2-0.
Neela.
Thanks, Neela. All right,
Thank you.
next, approve or deny the 2023 application for new property tax exemption for Ivy Hall Academy of Provo.
This is an organization that several years ago, we had a personal property account for them that was revoked at one point in time, but now they own the building where they were before, and so they're applying for the educational exemption for that.
Okay. Is this one that they need to come? Do
Yeah,
have
we
any-
sent them letters.
Do we have anyone online?
Yes, hang on, I'm rubbing, oh, hang on. There we go.
All right, Cynthia, I think if you unmute yourself, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yes, so I'm the director at Ivy Hall Academy. The school's been around about 35 years, started by Alan Osmond and Jim Lindahl in the community. So yeah, we've been a 501c3 as soon as they started in 1988. And this is the first time that we've owned a building, and just looking to take advantage of that very helpful property tax exemption based on being a school.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Okay, number 20, approve or deny the 23 application for property tax exemption for Liam H. McKelvey Living Foundation.
This is an organization that has a home that they provide help to people with PTSD, whether they're disabled veterans or other people in the community.
Right. Do we have anybody? Oh, there we go. It looks like Pierce.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Pierce Sargent. I'm an attorney. I've been assisting the McKelvey family and foundation, and our firm has as well. Mr. McKelvey is actually on the line as well, just in case there's any additional questions that anyone would like to ask. But this is a new foundation, and the property is the foundation headquarters, and they help veterans returning from combat by enabling them to transition to post-combat life by providing temporary services and providing funds and coordination for opportunities to further assist them with returning to life after combat, and assist those veterans to be able to feel like they have control of their life post-service. So they do this by sponsoring people to enable them to travel to places to get services, or otherwise opportunities to get off the streets or get off of out of their cycle of addiction. And they provide both the administrative stuff in that home, but also they have multiple bedrooms and 2 kitchens, I believe, where they can house people temporarily as they transition between places.
Are they a 501c3?
Yes, they are.
Right. Adam, did you have any other questions? No. Okay.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes
Thank you.
2-0. Thank you very much, Pierce. All right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. We're what, 3 down? All right, number 21, approve or deny the annual statement for continued property tax exemption for Shooters Soccer Club.
The next 4 that we have, we continued last month because there were some questions on them.
Okay,
And the first one is Shooters, and we have some more information that he was going to hand out that we got after I put everything online.
okay.
Adam Beck, County Attorney's Office. So what I just gave to you, we were not able to get it uploaded onto the agenda. And these are some of the numbers that they've been able to provide us. They provided them this morning. This is one that there are some concerns, and as far as some of the numbers that they have provided to us. And so we wanted to give them an opportunity to speak to them. Again, the property has to be used for a charitable purpose, and as a definition of a charitable purpose, it has to be a gift to the community, and that's further defined as it lessens a governmental burden. And so as we look at the numbers, it's hard to tell in what way they are lessening a governmental burden. We do show that there are some scholarships that they provide. They do offer the facility to be used for free at some point, and so because there is some question if that may be enough, and so that is a decision for the Board of Equalization to make. But we wanted to allow them to speak to those numbers and give us some more clarification on that.
So the most recent thing that we added there was I remember from the IHC charity plan that the volunteer hours times the current rate. And so that, I got that information from her right before lunch. And that was the most recent information that he had.
Okay. All right, do you want to come state your name for the record and then give us a very brief overview on your charitable donations or your charitable activities?
I will try. Nathan Bertzel here on behalf of Shooters Soccer. I'm an attorney. I'm also a coach with Shooters, and I work as a trainer and work with the technical directors there at Shooter Soccer. So very briefly, I've been thinking about this the whole time. How do I explain Shooter Soccer in 60 to 90 seconds? The best I can get is this. Shooter Soccer is we try to change lives through soccer. For the better. So I understand that there is certainly a deserved stigma with soccer clubs in the United States. It's a money-making racket for a lot of people. Shooter soccer is not that. You'll see through those, we don't have expensive paid directors. No one's showing up here in Mercedes like we have other clubs. In fact, before this meeting, I was looking at comparable clubs for the number of participants that are there. We're well under half the cost for the youth who pay to participate. We talk about, well, how does this benefit the community? What's the community gift? We know that youth who participate in sports do better in school, are more confident. For young women particularly, which is important to me because I coach my daughter's team, they have much better body images. They learn teamwork. They learn hard work. They learn how to get along with others. Growing up, I wasn't able to participate in club sports because my family couldn't afford it. We were too poor. That doesn't happen in Shooters. Our kids get to play. And if you're a U9, if we find the 9 U9 players who want to get together and play and have a good time, we're going to make it happen, right? So we're not a club that a direct quote I've heard from another club director I was talking to about this said, we will wholesale cut teams if they're not performing at a high enough level. We'll just cut them. And they call this, quote, brand control, end quote. Our kids aren't brand control. We want to make sure kids learn to have fun. We want to make sure kids work hard, learn how to work hard, be healthy. We want to make sure they have a safe place to go in the community. Mr. Beck talked about some of the things that we use the field house for. We obviously do team trainings, team activities there. But it's much more than that. It's a centerpiece for the community where others who can come and enjoy the facility and play soccer. We did pray for snow, and I think we prayed a little too hard because, boy, we're sure glad we had that down in Spanish Fork this year, the field house, because it was used for a lot of activities. A lot of people were able to get in there and get exercise and get that fitness. We have moms and dads who otherwise can't get away, come to a safe place. We have kids who can come to a safe place and participate in activities. I'm not sure what the volunteer hours show. I can speak to my personal experience. I counted my personal hours. I personally have about 250 hours this year in coaching soccer. I personally, on my team, we have about 500 hours that are donated. We have, I think, 62 teams, is that right, Karen? 72 teams. And I think that's fairly indicative of the number of hours that, these are volunteer hours, are put in, not to win soccer games, but to help young people become better adults in our community.
What percentage of the kids that play on a club team would you say are subsidized or have some sort of a scholarship?
That's a hard one because every team is a little different. If you were to average it, it's probably about 20%.
Yeah.
If you give me the answer, I'll say it in the mic. This is Karen Parker.
Karen Parker, Shooter Soccer Club. That's a hard one because teams are all different. So you may have one team that has 5 and 6 kids subsidized, but probably most teams have at least 2 that are subsidized.
And how many on a team?
That varies as well according to age. The younger kids have 10 on a team. The older kids have 15 to 18 on a team.
Okay.
So
If you're saying 2 per team, roughly 72 teams, 140 to 150.
approximately, and not all of those are completely free. Some of them are, we have their coaches end up paying for them, or someone else from the community pays for them. Some of those are completely free, and some of those are at a reduced rate.
Commissioner, like rental properties, they have to be rented at less than the fair market value to get the exemption. I did compare shooters to other soccer clubs in the area, and their rates are less than the
They are
other
less.
ones.
Okay. I'm biased because I was one of those kids that the only reason I was able to play club sports is because my coach paid for me. And every gymnastics tournament I ever entered, my coach paid my entry fee. So I definitely see, and 80% of our women leaders come through youth sports. Without that, most women are too afraid to run for office. And I understand why, because it is not for the faint of heart. I was a goalkeeper, and every time that someone scored a goal on me, it helped me get ready to run for public office. So I'm inclined to.
Can I just add one more thing about shooters that I'd like to emphasize? I think it'd be important to keep in mind as well. One of the things that we do is, as part of helping our kids, is we really encourage every team to participate in at least one large-scale service project during the course of the year. So that varies from team to team and what they're able to do, because we'll have 7-year-olds and what are they able to do, and up to older kids. So we've provided a lot of time for community beautification projects and subsidy projects. So I can talk to my team specifically this year that we have a young man who, from my office, he's in 3rd grade, and he lives up north. He comes from an abusive household, and he really just wanted to play soccer. And it's a similar situation where his mom there's no way she could afford for him to go and play soccer, even at a rec level. She can't afford cleats. Was the situation, and so. It was my 11-year-old girls went door to door and solicited for him, so that he had cleats to go and play. And they bought him really nice shoes and shin guards. And shooters really is amazing, and it really has a profound impact on a lot of children. I'm blessed to be part of the organization.
Yeah, my first cleats were bought by my coach, so I totally understand.
My only question, so this is the first year that we would give this?
No, we gave it last year, but last year, I
Several
think,
years, about 5 now.
oh, okay, and I think last year we specifically asked to come back with like hours from camps, and I see that.
Yeah, I see that as well. So,
And I just wanted to comment, the reason that we wanted to ask them questions is because they had put originally 11% of their income was given as a gift to community, and then they sent more stuff back and it dropped it to 8%.
Yeah.
And so with the volunteer hours, I looked up the market rate for volunteers and I multiplied it by the 24,000 hours that she had said, and it comes out to 733,000.
Right.
So that would definitely make their percentage, a gift to the community, significantly higher.
Awesome, thank you.
if we were to have Nathan bill his 250 hours as an attorney, that'd
I
probably.
know, I actually was thinking of that too. I was like,
I'm just kidding.
it's like, how many hours have you
You're
spent
not that
working on
kind of
this?
attorney.
I'm
is
not
what
that
you're
kind of
saying?
attorney, to
Okay.
build quite that.
I had to harass you a little bit.
All right,
Motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. 2-0 to approve. 22, approve or deny the annual statement for continued property tax
Thank you for your
exemption for Hewish Performing Arts and Cultural Education Center.
Thanks, Commissioner. This is one that we have brought back multiple times over the last, we brought them back and had them speak to their status over the last few application periods. In fact, this last year, this board said that they wanted the applicant to come back and that they needed to provide how they're meeting the charitable standards for this coming year. I did want to point out that, so this is a theater, and that it has not been functioning like an everyday theater. And in the Tax Commission decision 14-1662, that they need to show that it's engaged in a bona fide necessary preparation of the subject property for exclusive charity use. So we want to see that they're moving forward towards that use. A concern that we have is that they haven't taken steps necessary to get towards that exclusive use. And so that is what we would like the applicant to come speak to. So thank you.
State your name for the record.
Hi, Richard Lindsay. I'm president of the Board of Directors, or Board of, what do they call it? Board of Trustees for the Hewish Pace Corporation. What would you like to know?
I think I signed a letter of recommendation recently for the Hewish Theater through Brian Hewlett, that's just behind you. So I know that you're actively seeking
Yes.
grant funds and some assistance. Am I correct?
Right, that is correct. We have been in a situation where we've been trying to renovate the theater. Two of the requirements were that we have to have ADA compliant restrooms, which we didn't have, and we also had to have a fire suppression system. And so we've been working really hard, especially over the last year and a half, when we finally are able to raise some funds, get some grant money and things like that. And during this last year, we have completed what we refer to as phase 1 of a 3-phase project. It is due to open probably in May. And we have had art classes in there. We allowed an art teacher to use rent-free the part of the facility so that they could teach classes for about a year and a half. Then we had to kind of kick them out because then we had to start the renovation process. And so that's where we're at right now.
How many years have we had their status? Do we know?
I don't know.
Well, it was revoked 1 year, and then last year, I believe, is when they reapplied.
Yeah, they've been receiving the exemption for several years. I'm not sure when the year of their first exemption, but it's been several years. What was that? 2009. They've been receiving exemptions in 2009. If I may, Madam Chairman, the main question, of course, here is, the theater is not necessarily in operation. They're working on creating a public space where they can provide a place for arts and things in the local area. The challenge, of course, we have is, the law clearly states that there needs to be a community benefit where the theater's not in operation, where they're still fundraising, where they're still under construction. The question that we had as we reviewed it was, how long does the board allow them to be under construction before there's a question about whether there is a benefit to the community yet or not? And this is one of those things where I'm not sure that we've got any clear case law. I don't know if Adam's got something else he can provide, but.
No, Bert's absolutely right. The case law is not quite clear. In fact, Vicky has been in contact with the tax commission, trying to inquire to see if there is, if they have an official decision or something to that. And so we haven't got a response back. But yeah, that is the question: is how long can they go while it's not in operation, while still receiving the tax benefit?
You said you were hoping to open in May?
Yes.
So you're looking towards the end of your renovations?
Yep.
I'd be fine with another year, assuming.
Agreed. I know the amount of work that Payson City's doing on their main street. That's right there, and this is critical to that being successful, in my opinion.
Yes.
All that revitalization. So if that's close enough for you, I'd motion to approve.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved 2-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
23, approve or deny the annual statement for continued property tax exemption for Assisted Living Foundation.
This is another one where the percentage that they showed was lower, and so we were wanting them to come and explain more in detail, because sometimes I think they don't realize they can say that this is a gift to the community like Shooters did.
Right. Do we have a representative here or online?
I've got someone on the phone. I'm going to allow them to talk. I don't know if this is the person. I don't see any other hands raised, so we're going to see if this is the individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoever's calling in from number 801-756-8900, if you're here to speak towards this agenda item, go ahead and please unmute your phone.
Commissioner, I got an email that she didn't think she could come, and I emailed her yesterday and this morning trying to find out if she could attend, call in or attend via Zoom, and I didn't hear anything back. And this is a personal property account, I believe. And we wondered if it was revoked, if she could do the legislative exemption through the assessor's office instead of the one through us. It's not as difficult. They don't have to provide as much.
Was it continued March 30th as a result of not being here as well?
Because we had questions, it was
Just the
continued.
questions. Okay.
This is not a new application, so they weren't required to be here last week, but we asked them to come back so we could ask them to speak to their numbers, kind of like shooters did.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anyone online that has raised their hand, and the caller did not unmute themselves. I'm guessing they weren't able to attend. Unfortunately, when the board extends an invitation for someone to attend and answer questions, the current law states that the board's not allowed to grant an exemption unless they appear. That, again, is one of those changes that was written into law in the last, and that went into effect this year.
So we either continue or deny.
Well, the challenge is we have to make a decision because
by
we have
May 1st.
by May 1st, yeah.
By May 1st,
Yeah.
all right, then we don't have a choice.
Motion to deny.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is denied. Item number 23. 24, approve or deny the annual statement for continued property tax exemption for Libertas Institute. Connor, you want to unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So let us know, I think Adam Beck may have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, thank you. So we have reviewed this application, and it is the auditor's position that this application does not meet the requirements for a charitable exemption. Specifically, we don't, based off of what has been provided to us in their application, and for what we've been able to find, just looking at their material online, we don't think that they lessen a governmental burden. That's not to say that this is not a worthwhile organization. I would say that there are probably many in this room who are supportive of this organization. With that said, we don't think that it meets the requirements, and so the representative from Libertas is welcome to share thoughts and add input. What? With that said, as Vicky has mentioned on some of the other, though we don't think they meet the charitable standard, we do believe that it is likely that they would qualify for the legislative exemption because this is a personal property account, and we believe we haven't been able to see their full list of their personal property, but as long as it's under that 27,000, then they would also be eligible for that exemption. And so we wanted to provide that to them as a courtesy, and they would need to apply for that. I did ask Paulette to come. She's available if you have any questions for her. But that is the auditor's position on this matter.
And what was the reasoning that you felt they didn't qualify for the charitable exemption?
So in 59 to 1101E, they have to show that they're a gift to the community. One of the prongs, there's two prongs, that they have to show that they lessen a governmental burden. And then there's another prong, it's quite lengthy. I think the lessening the governmental burden is the easier of the two to meet, but just based off of their, how they, based off of their mission, They do a lot of lobbying at the state, a lot of political involvement. We felt like they don't meet the requirements.
Okay.
Commissioner, may I say something before he speaks? There were two things that they did that I find is charitable, but it's significantly less than what their main thing they do, and that's their Children's Entrepreneur Market and their Leadership Academy.
Okay. Connor, you want to talk to us about your charitable donations? Are you 501c3, C4? What are your activities like, et cetera?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to respond. Connor Boyack, president of the Libertas Institute. Before I disagree with, I think his name was Adam, I want to compliment him on his tie. I own the same one, and it is a stellar tie that I often get compliments on, so I wanted to make sure to pass one along to him. I feel like we're on a bit of repeat. This is similar allegations or concerns were shared last year. Commission ruled in our favor for the exemption, so I'll say what I said last year. There's a characterization that I think what Vicki said, the quote-unquote main thing they do is lobbying. We definitely do lobby, and in that vein, we do lessen the governmental burden. I think how that's being interpreted is in favor of a presumed inherent government burden of what the government must do, and then, hey, are there charitable partners that will take care of this for us so the government doesn't have to do it? I think one can also read into that charitable organizations can also try and decrease the burden of government itself and provide services to the community and shrink the size and scope of government, which we would certainly qualify for. We operate a number of educational activities that I think would be hard for a visitor to our website to see at first glance. Our primary website does feature a lot of legal and political and research-oriented type of things, but 3 times larger from an investment perspective than those types of activities is all of our youth education outreach. We do a number of school and class presentations. We develop curriculum. We operate at a lot of homeschool conventions, host events, help parents teach their kids about things like entrepreneurship and money and personal responsibility. The children's markets that Vicki mentioned, we'll be operating 30 of those this year, as we did last year, all across the state, with many of them in Utah County, to provide children applied experiences to learn about entrepreneurship and practice it. So fundamentally, our work is charitable, it is community-based, it is family-centric. We host a number of events and trainings to educate the public about how government processes work, how they can start small businesses, and all the rest. We are perhaps most publicly known for, because of news media, some of our more political type of work, but by no means would that be the main thing that we do. And we believe strongly, as we argued last year, that we're definitely a gift to the community and we're definitely lessening the governmental burden. So I'll wrap there and appreciate your time.
Yeah. Do you have C3 and C4 status?
Thank you. Just C3. We're just a 501c3.
All right. So you're not primarily a lobbying organization, or you would be legally required to be a C4. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our lobbying activity is what the IRS would call insubstantial compared to our overall other activities and investments.
Okay. Thank you, Connor.
How you feeling?
Well, I get a tax write-off for every donation I make to them because it's a 501c3. So
There you go.
So I see.
How many years is this for them?
This is just their second.
Second year. Okay, understood.
They didn't own property before they just rented.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Madam Chair and members of the board, if I can, just a quick thought. Again, we're also trying to point out that that the standard to meet for a charitable exemption is a fairly lengthy standard. We're also reminding Mr. Boyack that the Libertas Institute could probably, where this is only a personal property account, they likely would still qualify, even if they were denied today, they would likely still qualify for the legislative exemption through the assessor's office, which is also a much lower standard to qualify for as well. So we're just trying to offer, both avenues to the exemption. And
I see. And do we know the 27,000 threshold? Guess it's a question for.
Paulette could probably give us the exact information on that.
Okay.
Paulette Stetzer, Assessor's Office. It is 27,000 for those that qualify. Now, this would depend on what equipment is provided to our office as far as classification, year acquired, and those determinations determine how much the assessed value would be. So if the account is applicable for the exemption, it would be offered at the end of the filing. If it is not, and unfortunately, there would be a tax notice.
And I mean, I can guarantee the IRS scrutinizes this organization, and if the IRS finds that that their legislative activities is significantly, is insignificant, then I'm okay with that as a charitable donation.
Okay. Rather than going the route of the legislative.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is approved 2-0. Thank you, Connor. Next, we'll accept or deny the 2023 late annual statement for continued property tax exemption for Courage Reigns.
Now, the ones that we have now, this is something new for this board.
Okay.
We used to have this in the past. First, you have to accept the late application. And if you accept the late application, then you go forth and whether approve or deny the continued statement.
I see that. So it's like 25 and 26. 25, do we accept it late? 26, is that
Yeah,
eligible?
because all of these came in after the March 1st deadline.
This is again, a new process was introduced with the legislation that took effect this year that allows us to accept an application after the March 1st deadline and allows for an application to be filed late up to March 31st. So these are all applications that came in after March 1st, but before March 31st.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have anybody here from Courage Reigns? Anyone online?
Yeah, Dennis, should be Dennis Bromley.
All right, Dennis, just unmute yourself. You should be good to go.
Dennis?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes.
Hi, this is Dennis. I'm the executive director from Courage Reigns. We actually submitted our information on February 28th through the new online portal that was just started this year. 2 weeks later, I got a notice saying, certified notice that we had not submitted our application, at which time I reached out to Vicki. She said that they hadn't received it, so I submitted again online. She looked and couldn't see it, so then I manually submitted the information to her via email.
That's correct.
Okay. Were we having issues with our online portal?
Mostly just educational. It was brand new this year, and so a lot of people were getting used to the format and used to the environment. So
Okay.
Because he would send me a screen print showing it worked, but then it wouldn't show up on our side.
Yeah.
It was the main problem.
Okay. I feel comfortable accepting it, knowing that there was a learning curve.
And so am I understanding that we accept 25 and then that
And then we just need to-
automatically approves 26?
No,
No,
then we
then
just
we
need to
talk
see,
about
do
it.
they
Understood.
qualify? So do you want to let us, maybe give us a quick overview, 60 seconds or less, on your charitable status or why you should qualify for a charitable exemption?
Sure. So we've been in business since early 2000. We're a nonprofit 501c3, and we serve people with physical, mental, and emotional disabilities through equine assisted therapies. We have mental health therapists on staff, certified instructors. We provide services for free. We provide needs-based sponsorship, and a majority of our funding comes through donations and grants.
Okay. Adam or Vicki, did you have any questions?
No.
Make a motion to accept item 25 and approve item 26?
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Thank you, Dennis. Okay. looks
Thank
like-
you.
You're welcome. Is this the same for
Situation.
27, 28?
Yes.
All right, do we have anybody from the Utah Autism Academy? Looks like Lindsay, you have been promoted.
Yes, I'm here for the Utah Autism Academy.
All right. You talked to us about why, maybe why the application was late and what your charitable contributions are.
Yes, I'm stepping in for Tricia, who's our executive director. She's out with some family matters. I was told that Vicki, you could speak to why the application was late. Is that correct?
I think they had problems
With the portal.
applying on time. To be honest with you, I can't remember really well that far
Oh,
back.
that's fine. I believe Tricia said that there was some tech problems that Jason had submitted it online, and it had gone through, but it wasn't received on your end until later.
Okay. So then would you want to talk to us about what your
Yeah.
charitable,
Yeah, so Utah Autism Academy is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our goal is to help those who are more profoundly affected by autism gain access to the community, develop independent life skills, help families stay together by really helping reduce problematic behaviors. We scholarship lots and lots of hours that aren't covered by funding sources. We also have an expanded training program where we are really focusing on training those individuals that are going to be going out into the community and becoming our future caregivers for those individuals with autism, which will help increase their ability to serve and their ability to access care. We have an expansion of our services right now that is going to include adults who are experiencing some reduction in services due to age cutoffs. We also do a lot of legislative efforts to make sure that we're passing laws that benefit those who need those services the most.
okay, thank you.
I don't have any further questions. I would make a motion to accept item 27 and approve item 28.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that is accepted and approved. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
29, accept or deny late exemption for Kids Who Count, and then if accepted, approve an exemption. Do we have a representative from Kids Who Count here?
Stuart Reeve is supposed to come or call in per the email I got from him.
I don't see anyone online, but as a point of clarification, these are continuing statements. Those who show up for continuing statements are not necessarily required to appear, as those who apply for an exemption for the first time are required to appear, so
So these ones are, and it's not a requirement.
it's not a requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know this one?
Yeah, Vicki,
Commissioner?
can you give us an update on this one?
They just applied online on March 9th. They were just late. I remember they were trying to get it done and time just kind of got past them.
And are they like a preschool
It's a
daycare?
no, it's a school for autistic children where they
Oh.
teach them,
Gotcha.
how to go along, and Amelia could probably explain this better
That's
than
probably, my
me.
guess would be an ABA therapy, teaches them how to, and behavioral therapy,
Okay.
how to basically interact with peers and interact with others and be up to life skills.
Gotcha.
Do you have any questions on this one, Adam?
No questions.
I would motion to accept item 29 and approve item 30.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes 2-0. All right, 31 and 32, let's say accept the late statement for the Rachel Covey Foundation. Do we have anybody from the Rachel Covey Foundation here or online?
I'm not seeing anyone raising their hand
Okay,
yet.
can you give us an update, Vicki?
This is an organization that also does equine therapy, and they've actually grown quite large in the 5 years that we've had them. They're now opening some places in Europe. And this is done by Sean Covey. His daughter committed suicide, and she loved horses, and so they wanted to reach out to other teenage girls to help them to not do that, give them some help. I know he's not, because it's grown such large, he used to always do the paperwork before, and now there's another lady that does it, and so it was new to her to turn everything in timely.
You said they've done this for 5 years?
Yeah, and in fact, next year, the original, originally when they were approved, because they were on Greenbelt, it would have taken it off of Greenbelt and would have had rollback, and they were told that for 1 year, for every 5 years, a year of the rollback would come off. And so they, as far as I know, they have been meeting the Greenbelt, so that next year we'll have to, work more on that.
Okay. Adam, do you have any questions on this one?
Motion to accept item 31 and approve 32.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. Thank you. All right. Items number 33 and 34, late petition for Dahlia's Hope and potential approval. Do we have any representatives of Dahlia's Hope here? Okay, Vicki, do you want to give us an update on that one?
This is an organization that last year was the first year they applied. Oh, and there is someone online, it looks like,
Amanda Meyer.
where they help women who were trafficked.
Okay.
And the application shows that due to, there was an emergency of Chris Anderson's father, and he had to rush, the hospital, and so they weren't able to get the application in on time.
Okay. Amanda, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just about our organization or the fact that we were a little late.
Both.
Okay. I'm not sure about the lateness. I just started in January, but I'm the chief operating officer.
Okay.
And we just provide transitional home and therapeutic farms for human trafficking victims. It's not emergent in the way that they need, rehab therapy. They have to be tier 2, so they have to be away from their trafficker and rehab. We really focus on teaching them budgeting skills and life skills to eventually be self-reliant and get their own home. But we do have people who are outpatient who don't reside in the home who also use the therapeutic farm for therapies every week when we have a couple horses and some chickens and goats there at the property.
Okay.
Motion to accept item 33 and approve item 34.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That passes 2-0. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank
35, accept or deny the late statement for continued property tax exemption for Crossroads of the West, and then potentially approved. Do we have anybody from Crossroads of the West here? Terry?
Yes.
Right, Terry, you're on mute. If you want to unmute and maybe talk to us about why it was late and what you do, that's charitable. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I submitted that paperwork back in the middle, originally the first time in April, and then it's the first time that I had ever submitted it. Then I got a letter saying that I had submitted some information wrong, so I resubmitted it again, and I think it came back the second time just a little bit late, like a week late after the due date.
Yeah, they had missed putting personal property accounts on.
Okay.
They just did the land previously.
All right, they just didn't have those accounts on there previously?
Right.
Okay.
I didn't have all of them listed right.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any questions for them, Vicki or Adam, or are you good with their charitable status?
No, this is the Boy Scouts, the
Okay.
new council.
All right.
Motion to accept item 35 and approve item 36.
All right, I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes 2-0. Thank you, Terry.
All right, thank you.
All right, 37 and 38 are a late acceptance for IHC Health Services. Do we have anybody from IHC here? Want to come forward? You want to talk to us about this
May I
one?
speak just quickly first?
Yeah.
The charity plan was late, but their normal continued statement was timely, so that's why the late is just the charity plan.
Just to accept the charity plan. Okay.
Can we just blame Jason Wilson and leave? Just
I'm
call
good
it a
with
day?
that.
Just, as long as we blame him, it's easy.
Yeah, that's a lot of parcels there.
Put that in the minutes.
And it may be, I guess, helpful for us to understand on the charity plan. Sorry, Kyle Hansen, CEO, Utah Valley Hospital with Intermountain Health. I guess we're not aware of a statutory change that affects charity plan submission dates.
Historically, we haven't submitted them by March 1st. We run into a challenge at times with audited financials being done by then for our organization in order to populate some of those plans. But I guess maybe I'm here asking a question to make sure we're clear on making sure we're not late in the future.
Yeah. The statutory requirement is that continuing statements have to be filed by March 1st, and that does include the charity plans. However, as we got legislation passed the previous year that won't affect this year that allows an organization to file after March 1st and up to March 31st. In the past, we have allowed the charity plan to be filed after March 1st as long as the application was filed on time, but that really wasn't in compliance with statute, which is why we got the statute fixed so that we could allow for both an application and any supporting document to come in after the deadline. Okay. So the challenge here is the board has to accept a charity plan for an organization that is required to provide one like IHC before the question of accepting the continuing statement can be dealt with. If the charity plan is rejected, then basically that de facto rejects the continuing statement, and it's just, again, part of the process.
Okay, and your issue with getting that in on time is just that your audited statements are not completed?
Yeah, our annual audit, I don't know. I don't work in audit or accounting, but I believe at times it's not complete by March 1st. And so we did submit by March 31st, but I guess our intent would be not to be listed as submitting late every year going forward. So
are you on just as a question, are you on a fiscal year or a calendar year?
We're on a calendar.
Yeah, ours aren't submitted by March 1st either. So he without sin cast the first stone. Adam, do you have any questions on that?
Actually, no, I don't have any questions at this time.
All right, I think we're good then.
One of the things that they have to do is explain, we have your charity plan, but tell us why you did last year and what you're going to do this year.
Yeah, so we're really happy to be in Utah County as an organization. I think we provide a lot of good in our communities. Our plan is to continue to grow to meet the need of this growing county, and you've seen us do that with new facilities, Spanish Fork Hospital. We are opening a children's hospital in Lehigh next year, and you'll see us continue to add sites of service as the county grows in order to keep care close to home. Just high-level summary, nearly $28 million of charity care, almost 35,000 individuals. We have something that I think all of us that work for Intermountain Healthcare are proud of is our financial assistance program, which really benefits. It's not an uninsurance program. If you have insurance, you can still qualify for charity care and have a portion of your bill written off. And so it's something we're proud of as a not-for-profit, something we're certainly planning to continue. And I believe our tax liability would have been $9 million. So just on the charity piece alone, without the total gift to the community, we meet that, exceed that tax liability should we had paid. So happy to answer any questions beyond that.
We're just excited that the county with the most children per capita under the age of 18 is finally getting a children's hospital.
Sounds right.
We lead the nation in children. We should have a children's hospital here.
Yeah, we're all very excited about that. Both as citizens, but also as those that work in the healthcare industry to have those services. We have been able to provide some services at Utah Valley Hospital for a number of years with primary children's doctors, and now we'll have a full-blown hospital, and it's exciting. So
perhaps I shouldn't have been, called out Jason. We should probably call out Francis.
Yeah.
He's not
yeah, Francis sends his regards.
Yeah, Francis is not here, so we should definitely blame him.
He's celebrating his 30th wedding anniversary, so we gave him a pass.
That's a mediocre excuse. So.
I hope he took her somewhere nice because she has to put up with him.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll let him know that.
Yeah, I think in 2021 we had 6 babies for every death certificate that we issued was 6 birth certificates. So about time we have a children's hospital.
For sure.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Motion to accept item 37 and approve item 38.
I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. We're at the last item. Approve or deny application for review by Board of Equalization of a Farmland Assessment Act status for Viana Elio, serial number 0051 and 0063, and Greenbelt accounts 295-2023 and 296-2023.
Good afternoon, board members. Ben Stanley from the County Attorney's Office. This item was continued from last month. This is the property that has the paving company. It has an area on one of its lots for trucks and paving equipment. It has two different parcels. One's about 4 3/4 acres and one's about 3/4 acres and has the residence. The assessor's office denied this application for a greenbelt continuation because there was not sufficient acreage. There's not 5 acres. There's not 5 acres in production. The lots are vacant. The attorney for the applicant acknowledged that the lots were vacant. It was continued to give them time to produce evidence of agricultural production if they had any. They have submitted to the assessor's office a couple of receipts for the purchase of 2 heifers that don't indicate where they were kept. The property owner indicated that they didn't have fencing. They hope to have fencing in the future so that they could actually have cattle on these parcels. So it remains the assessor's position that these 2 parcels do not have the agricultural production. They don't have the sufficient acreage and the application should be denied.
Any online? I don't see him here by chance.
I don't see them here.
Sorry
either.
to
You're
bump
fine.
you. You're the chair.
Oh, wait, there is someone online.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, here you go.
All right, Sam, you want to unmute yourself and you go.
There, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Yeah, the property owner submitted information about cows that were owned and were on the property in 2021 and 2022. We did explain last month that the cows did break a fence that was existing and that he was working on getting a permit to fix the fencing. So I don't know what other information we could provide to prove that the cows were kept on this particular property, other than the fact that he doesn't have any other property that he would have had those cows on. So, our contention is we've provided evidence of the cows. We took the board's suggestion that we submit a request for the urban greenbelt just on the one parcel that's almost 5 acres. And so I think we would submit that we would concede the rollback tax on the smaller of the 2 parcels that just had a tiny piece connected to the greenbelt use, and then we would ask for the urban greenbelt be applied on the larger parcel.
Okay, which one was the smaller and which one was the larger?
And you know the number of which parcel's which? I can pull that up, but she might know that off the top of her head.
51 or 63.
I apologize. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm actually on vacation, so I don't have the paperwork right in front of me. But
So what we could do is we would deny for the smaller parcel and assess the rollback for that. And then on the larger parcel, I think the application is due by May 1st. So you've got just a few days, about a week, to get in the application for the urban farming for the other one.
So the smaller parcel is...
it's been...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the application has been submitted.
Okay, it has. How was that submitted? Do you know?
The property owner emailed in documents about the cows a few days ago, I believe.
Okay, so it looks like 63 is the smaller one, so that would be the one that we would deny exemption on. And 51, we could look at rolling over to urban.
And
Oh, deny both and then do the...
They would have to either way.
Yeah.
Oh, then they would have to apply.
And it sounds like they maybe have submitted an application. One thing that would be helpful, Sam, is, declarations about the days. We have to calculate things like animal units per month, so we need to know when animals are on parcels, if they're on parcels. So declarations are helpful, as well as photographs and other things like that. But yeah, I think a denial of both would be the right approach, and then allowing the application to be considered for the urban farming. That application requires things like surveys of the parts of the parcel that will be used for the urban farm specifically, and other details.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Sam?
I still see you.
Okay. Motion to deny not based.
Well,
You there, Sam?
yeah, it hurts the taxpayer a lot to have the rollback tax assessed, having to pay 5 years in back taxes when it's been in continued use, and he's going to continue to use it for the farming purpose.
What we can
Just
do
because he's
is,
switching
if
it.
he is approved for the urban farming, if he goes through and is approved for the urban farming, he could apply for an abatement for rollback. And typically what we'll do is we'll say, as long as he's on urban greenbelt for a certain number of years, then we could have that abated.
And in fact, beyond that, there was a House bill that passed in this last legislative session, 397, that says that if a part of a parcel is converted to greenbelt or to urban farming from greenbelt, that the rollback tax is not applicable at all. And so we don't even need to defer it potentially. It looks like.
Right. So if we deny here, as long as he makes sure that the application gets in and make sure he gets approved for the urban farming, then it will abate the rollback.
That sounds fair.
Okay, so just make sure to follow up with him.
A portion of the rollback.
A portion of the rollback. Obviously, the portion that goes into the portion that would go into the urban farming. So make sure that he filed the application and that everything was done in it so that there's no question about the approval.
Thank you. We'll do that.
Thanks, Sam. Motion to deny.
All right, I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's passed 2-0 to deny. Thank you. With that,
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.